Hey guys, Bolt here with SB Studios, just coming off the Bolt topic of the downfall of YouTube. So I still have work here in a few minutes, but there's no longer a possible thing of burning down the apartment. So we gotta make this quick. This is basically, hold on, let me go check again. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. The evolution of human mentality. So what I mean, okay, so the evolution of human mentality. What is I says? Basically, this is how we treat each other, how we go about things. I've targeted this and I've went on rambles before, but I kind of get aggressive with it. So what is this meaning? So if we're all going back to caveman, basically we see you as another member, but thing is, I think historians have found that they've bashed out the head of another human to eat the brains and all that. So you're useful until you're hungry or you're no longer helping at all. And then you are used as food, or if it was a woman, probably they would have been used for just repopulation. But now you start going into like 18 to the 1000th century. It's mostly like this is when civilization starts kind of nothing huge, but it's mostly like this is where the mentality kind of stayed for a good while. Is more of just like ladies are seen as a continuation of the family, but yet they're also a bargaining chip, essay. If you're having a war or having problems with another family, you marriage off your daughter to their son to be on not good terms, but hey, we have two connected family members. You can't screw with us now. And it's also the girls were kind of while the men were doing the heavy lifting in most of the labor, the women were doing the stuff at home that made the home not look like a wreck. Basically, they did the daily life stuff where the men did the work, the hard work, the labor, the money maker, which is what a lot of people nowadays want to return to, but it's also, when it comes to some strong females that are trying to outspeak to men, it's completely wrong to have that mentality, apparently, where you get to stay at home, not have to worry about dealing with the real world unless you go to an event. It is completely wrong to protect you from society and work and having to put stress on yourself. I have a mentality of where I would like to have enough money, enough income to have my wife and kids sit at home. That's how I wish I could. Because I'd rather have the kids be with the mom. That way they have a parent at home. And I'd rather not have the stress of having to go to a job to the mom. But, that was kind of a lot of the mentality back then. It's just like, woman, you stay at home. We care about you. But thing is, you are not socially accepted in a workplace. And then I believe 1800s is when they started accepting some women into workplaces, but their jobs weren't as important. They were kind of like the secretary or like an assistant. 1900s, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but this is when things start going into our era, like our modern world, where it's kind of like women wanted to vote, wanted to get all these other jobs, so they basically were, hey, I think it's like middle 18th century also made this. Basically, when slavery was abolished, basically that stood for, hey, all humans should have about the same level of life and importance, but of course only so few people started with that mentality of, hey, every race, every nationality is worth something. And then, a few years later, there's like maybe a 50-50. It's just they don't want to outspoke because they think society is doing it. So they had the white and black fountains, the white and black bathrooms. A lot of people wanted to outspeak to this, but of course society said, no, we're going to keep segregation a thing. Eventually, a few people outspoke that. The women started wanting to vote because, hey, now all people are becoming equal. Why not jump on the bandwagon? But they had a different idea where, hey, we kind of want the same rights as those people. So basically, everyone stood for what they were doing, and it started making everyone have the same thought of, you're another human being. As long as you don't get in my way, we're fine. That's how it should be. That is literally how it should be, but it is not the way everyone thinks. So, what is the nowadays mentality? Nowadays mentality have went from let's all be together in one little community without any problems to have a better world. Nowadays, the everyone who is trying to step in being equal is no longer wanting to be equal. The white man is now going to be the lowest on the power chain, is basically how it's setting up to be. Basically, women are now saying, we are the ones with a thing between our legs that will control if there's going to be any more population, and this is going to be our woman power. They've also pointed out every little woman in history that's done something and basically put themselves on a pedestal, which, sure, woman power, all power to you, but seriously, you're downplaying everyone that's fought for betterment of everyone, betterment of humanity. They weren't going, some people they did for their own, but it involved, but still, just because they had ill will, they still had something that bettered your life. So it's getting downplayed. So you're rising up your little section of history and pushing out everything else. It's not just white history, it's every other history that doesn't have to do with women's history or people that are Black Lives Matter, like not the bad parts, the ones that do the riots and all the other negative press action and talk. They're more worried about those certain things that it's pushing out, and it's actually doing negative, it has negative effects on that push. Yes, those colored lives matters, but guess what? I'm not an all lives matter, but your life should be held to the same as another life, is all it is. Is this doesn't mean higher than this one doesn't mean higher. It's just you're human. So a life is a life. But that's what's wrong with that run, is everyone's pushing, saying that my life's worth more than yours. My nationality, my race, my gender is a lot more important than yours, and that is our current problem. There's a lot of people that are destroying that mentality, but there's a lot of people that go after those people as soon as they finish talking. And another thing is the confusion that's happening right now. You can say if we continue the way we are, where there's more accepting, it's okay that we're accepting a lot of stuff. But between the marching of women, the marching of every race and nationality, we also have this sexuality and all these multiple genders, which, I'm sorry. Trans, understandable. Non-binary and is kind of the gender of asexual, basically. They're not the same thing, is what I'm saying. What asexual means they're not attracted to anyone. Non-binary means they have no gender. It's basically they are the dead in the water of their sexuality and gender. Those are understandable. But calling yourself a weasel or a toaster or a dumpster, that stuff is a non-go. That is part of the confusion. And also forcing people, when your government document says otherwise, makes everything else confused in the world. It's okay if someone messes with gender identity. You just gotta nicely say, hey, I go by this, instead of blowing a gasket half the time. That's what gets you guys in trouble. Is, someone... we all go by visual. We all have a pair of eyes. We don't telepathically read your mind, so we go back on what we see. We think it's more on... There's people that are very particular and will see the way your body shape is and how your hand is and all that, and they'll tell how you were supposed to be born, but how you look, how you dress, makeup, hair, that's the big components that say, this is who I am in society. So, let's say a woman is still a woman but wants to dress as a man. You're going to be... And your hair is cut short, you're going to be misgendered as a man. That is what's going to happen because everyone's trying to progress too quickly right now. That's the problem. I'm okay with what you're trying to do, it's just you need to slow down a bit. We're still trying to grasp this one concept. You're introducing 5 other concepts. I'm okay with transgenders, with you wanting to be non-binary, with all these other sexualities. As long as I'm not getting put in this stuff, and I know, and you're not giving me a problem, you're okay. But here's the thing. You have the people that are making the dumb genders that are basically saying items and animals. It might be a joke to half the people, but there are people that are actually out there doing this. You're a human being. Stop making things confusing. But then there's the other 4 things, which are you're trying to change your appearance when you're not actually trying to change things. Let me understand this before you start throwing together that there's cross-dressing is a normal thing. That's normally meant to be for conventions and stuff. Being out and about and making it very confusing to tell who you are, and you're getting pissed about misgendering. Basically, there's a lot of steps you're trying to take, but you're tripping up the stairs as you're going up. That is what's happening. I'm trying to give you a hand up those stairs because I would love for you to be completely sane and happy, but you can't keep forcing society to understand these concepts when, one, there's a lot of bigots still, but there's also a lot of people that are confused about what this means. You are throwing so many concepts at the wall that no one can tell where you got half your ideas from. That's basically what's happening with it right now. So basically, we don't understand survival. We'll use everything we can, even people, for food and usage. And then we go into, hey, women, you're basically are you're pulling the strings in the back. You are basically the backboard to life. Basically everything that we hung onto was based on women. You guys made sure the homes were fine. You guys were bringing up kids and all that. While the men basically made things work. That basically you made everything build on while we're out. Then recently, hey, everyone's equal, but everyone accepting that was slowly building. And now we were so close. I know there's always gonna be a bigot. There's always gonna be people that are more wanting the old ways as they were, and making everyone not equal. It's gonna be a thing for a while, but a lot of the things that were accepted were introduced every few years. Now everyone's throwing it in a bag and hoping that everyone accepts it and tosses it at someone. That is what we're at now. There's so many concepts that are okay, except for what I said about you gendering yourself as a material or an animal. That stuff is a no-no. But do that stuff in your home. I don't want to see that on my streets, because there's kids that are going to be confused about what the heck you're doing, and it's also very inappropriate for some things that I've seen people do. But everything else, sexuality, I don't need to know it. You live your life, but that's basically how it is with life right now. But anyways, I have to go get ready for work. That is basically the evolution of how our mentality is, just better, understanding, nuke. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.